Recently, I did a video telling everyone it was my husband and my 40th wedding anniversary, and we were so excited to celebrate that. It's funny because I think back to those years, 1983, and I was 18 and pregnant. We had only known each other for 2.5 months when we got married. And I remember my dad, lovingly, not really, but he said, "I give your marriage 5 years." Now, that made sense to me, why he would say that, but I didn't like it that he said it, and I'm pretty competitive, so I never forgot that. I remember thinking, oh yeah, watch me. Now, little did we know at that time that we'd be going through so many struggles and the infidelity, the fighting, just so many counselors and other troubles that we had to endure. Yet somehow, by God's grace, we made it through 4 decades of marriage. The reason I say that is because, and I'm not calling my siblings out, but I have 3 siblings, and each of them got married the right way. They met someone, they got engaged, then they got married. And I had always thought, that's the way to do it, and I was ashamed of the way that we got together. But I want to do this video, not to call out my dad, though I have said to him, hey, how's that working out? We made it a little bit past the 5 years. Is to say that it doesn't matter how you get married. There are definitely better ways than others. I recommend all of you save yourselves till marriage, date, get engaged, then get married, then have your children. But I will say, don't look at your marriage like I did and so many others and so many of my clients say, oh, we should have never got married because whatever. Well, you know what? My husband and I probably never should have gotten married because I only married him because I was pregnant. Who knows if I hadn't been pregnant, if we would have married or if enough time would have passed and I would have figured out that he wasn't the guy for me. Makes me laugh 40 years later because apparently God thinks he was the guy for me. But what kept us together was 2 things, really. One was resolve, partly because my dad said, I give your marriage 5 years, and I'm a fighter. But partly because when we reconciled, I remembered thinking, if I would have left this marriage this first time, everybody would have understood because we were 18, pregnant, and stupid. I could have gotten an out. But when I chose to reconcile with him, I said to myself, but this time it's for good. And there was a switch that was flipped. It was I'm going to make this work. I wish I even knew then it went against God's will to divorce. It was, anything else would be legalized adultery. But I will honestly admit, it wasn't even that. It was just, this time it's got to be for life. And actually in the back of my mind, there was some of that. But for those of you looking, what does it make a marriage last? It's that resolve. And John Gottman's done his research talking about really that inability to say the D word. And this marriages for life mentality is absolutely what's needed because your marriage, you watching this, you will go through difficulties, whether you're a super couple or not. Everyone will. Everyone will. And even my super couples, they all had kind of a time where they're like, oh, did we do the right thing? Should I have married this person? Just maybe sometimes smaller time frames or less thought on that. But nonetheless, everyone goes through a tough season or a mundane season or let's just get through this season. And they question. But there was one other thing that I believe, and I've said this on the air before, but my husband and I both, the one thing we have in common is we both have a deep love for God. It's funny because I didn't do my research back in 1983 when we had gotten married, and I had done it years later when I got my master's and PhD and found out the importance of what they call religious homogamy, having what the Christian church, the Catholic Church, calls equally yoked. My husband and I, though I was Catholic at the time and he wasn't, and he is now, we've never denied Christ. Yes, in our sins, perhaps, but neither of us ever doubted him. Neither of us ever didn't have faith. Neither of us ever wanted to displease God. And that, I believe, is the singular thing that held us together. So knowledge that divorce goes against God's will, the absolute resolve that I'm going to work through anything, and knowing that God is at the helm, whether or not things are going well or not. If you give it to God, He's going to pull you through. Now, the one last thing I want to say is, for those of you, I'm thinking right now of particular couples, but you love the Lord and your spouse is ambivalent or not your same religion or nominal Christian, or some have even said, I don't really believe in God. It's tough because it's so much easier if you're both religious, equally yoked. But it doesn't give you an out if your spouse isn't on the same page as you. It always takes one more than the other to get us through these tough seasons. If you are the one that's in love with God right now and your spouse isn't, that is quote unquote all you need. You and God can pull your spouse to that place. Yes, it'll be easier once he or she is alongside of you. But your marriage can make it and stand the test of time. And that's the point of this video. Don't listen to others who say they give you 5 years. Don't listen to those who say you didn't do it the right way. Don't listen to those who have doubt. You turn to God, you turn to your spouse, you turn in your heart and say, I will not, cannot choose anything other than marriage until death. Will not divorce through good times and bad, sickness and health. You know, like the vows we really made, good times and bad. Everyone wants to leave in the bad, sickness and health. So many leave when their spouse gets sick, mentally ill, depressed, manic, depressive, bipolar. Sickness and health. Till death do us part. Rich and poor, by the way. I have a lot of those too. My spouse spends too much, blah, blah, blah. The vows are without conditions. So that's my video for today. I hope it helped. Just a little something to give you a shot in the arm. If you need any more help, give me a call. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching this Bacon Bit. And I'd like to remind you always to live your life sunny side up.